Welcome to Norm, a Scrum tool for project management. In this screencast, we're going to take a quick tour through the features of the existing alpha so you can see what we've got so far. In order to do so yourself, open up the test drive of the alpha widget and click on Play with Norm. From this page, you can log in with any username you want. We'll call our user test user, and just pick the very same password. Once you've logged in, you'll see that Norm has a list of projects, ones that exist, ones that you've already signed up for as a team member. We're going to just create our own project, test hi, and then it'll show up on the list of projects that we can join, so we're going to go ahead and join it. Jumping into the project, we can see the top level of test hi. Test hi is an agile Scrum project, and the way those are often organized are as a series of sprints that take place in time that are populated with stories or units of customer value. So in order to get started, what we might do is create our very first sprint, Sprint 1, which we'll have begin on February 1st and continue for 1 week. Once the sprint's been created, it's time to start filling it up with stories and tasks. So let's populate our backlog, that is, the stories that we have from the past that we would like to enter into our sprints. We're just going to create a quick test story. It's supposed to be a unit of customer delivered value. We're going to give it a point estimate and create it. Now our backlog has the first story item in it, and we can drag that onto our sprint in order to give the sprint that story. Sprint 1 has the story we just created, but now I think it's time for us to make some tasks. We'll jump in and make our very first task, which will be to create a new widget. And we will just leave the description blank for now and estimate that it'll take 5 hours to complete that task. The task is green because it's assigned to me. We can add a comment, for example, a helpful URL, that might help us complete the task. In this case, we'll just enter the URL for Google. If we now jump back to the sprint, we'll see that our burn down chart, that is the number of hours that we've added and removed over time, day by day, throughout the sprint, it is now set to 5. That is, that as of today, there are 5 hours of work remaining to be completed. In order to see how we might capacity plan, we see the test user currently has his capacity set to 0, which means his remaining hours after that 5-hour task he's been given is -5. But I actually think the test user can probably complete 40 hours of work during this sprint. And so if we were to jump back into the sprint and take a look at the capacity, we'll see that now it's 35. We can create new stories for the sprint from here. We can also modify the sprint details. Jumping back to the top, let's enter into a particular project. It has a lot of stuff in it already. It has a bunch of sprints and a bunch of items in the backlog. One thing we might do here is use this theming capability to alter our view of what's there in Norm. If we click on the main Show Archive view, you'll notice that there are new backlog items and new sprints that show. This is because when you archive an item, we don't delete it from the system, but we do remove it from many of the themed views. However, this is more of a system kind of view where we might want to review things that have been archived, and so we show them in this particular way, in this particular theme. All of the themes of Norm are simple, single-file CSS styles that can make the system look very different. In this case, we have a couple of examples. We have a narrow theme that makes things small, possibly easier to view on a mobile device. We have one from our friend Steve that takes out the bar and the animation so that the whole page looks a little cleaner. My favorite is main, which looks a little bit more like an Xboxy kind of theme from the Microsoft Windows modern UI idea. So Norm is very themable. And we think that a lot of really cool stuff can be done with norm themes in the future. So, if this looks like an interesting tool to you, or something you might want to take a closer look at, or something you might want to give us feedback on, we'd really appreciate it if you would sign up for our beta, enter your email address here and click sign up. And also, if you have a chance, please come and take our survey. Your input will help make Norm a more awesome tool when we finally get to release. Thank you very much.